in Nigeria needs to be functioning 100%. You can't say the Nigerian citizens can't go for, a better life outside the shores of Nigeria because they are nurses. At least it is the nurses that's affecting at this particular time.
True.
You can't say they can't go get better life, better working conditions outside the shores of Nigeria. Meanwhile, the politicians, the people who make these policies, can stand up at any point, anytime, and go outside the shores of Nigeria to get good medical services. It doesn't work that way. You want them to stay in Nigeria, you also have to stay in Nigeria to
the
get
example.
You need to
Free
set
and
examples. You need to stay in Nigeria to get medical services in Nigeria. And I'm sure that law can work perfectly well because I know for a fact most Nigerians do not want to leave the country. They want to be back home and have a good life. But Nigeria is sweet, for goodness sake.
It is.
There's no place like home.
It is
No place like home. But once the working condition is not perfect, once we can't live our life, most people are just surviving at the moment. Not many people are really living their life. They're in survival mode. So when you say this can't happen, you need to make sure other things are in place to make sure that whatever policy you're putting in place is smooth and 100%. So that's why I'm glad the National Assembly came out to say, hey, you people are taking our decision a different way. This is not what we meant. This is what we mean. You need to open back the sites and make these verifications done. We hope the sites will be opened immediately so that these verifications can start. But until then, we need to continue to speak out because you could say, hey, it's affecting only the nurses. What's my business? Who knows? Who knows?
Ripple effect.
Who knows who it's coming for next? Who knows? That's how I welcome you to today's edition of the newspaper review right here on iMpact Radio 102.1 FM. My name is Uche Okori. You've heard the lady's voice already, so I'm not alone in the house, people. I'm supposed to have a double dose of the ladies this morning, but hey, it's good. One is good too. Good morning to you. How are you doing?
Good morning, Uche. Good morning, citizens. This is Tuluwashe Akimumi. Yeah, so we are going to be with you from now till 8. We'll be taking major headlines of the stories that have happened, yesterday, and so you can just be informed. Also, you can join us via YouTube. We are live at the moment, and if you want to contribute to the stories, you can send a text message or WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018. That is 0907 224 5018. And if you want to call, that is 0700 1021 1021.
Okay, yes, we're also on all your social media handles, all the ones you can imagine. We're on X, we're on Instagram, we are on TikTok at iMpact1021 FM. That is HI Impact 1021 FM. Go follow us, go be part of our family. We are streaming live on YouTube, like she said, at iMpact 102.1 FM. Yes, you can watch us live at the moment on YouTube, also on Facebook at iMpact Radio 102.1 FM. 15 minutes past 7. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we will be looking at the papers in full. Don't go nowhere.
I know, and I love you too. This is why I've made it so that you can now have me everywhere you go. www.highimpactstudios.com. Press play. Links in our social media bio. Click at High Impact 1021 FM. Or you can just go the regular way. Turn on your radio and tune in to 102.1 FM.
We love you at High Impact Radio. Mwah!
See, there is no separating us now.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
iMpact Radio 102.1 FM, 16 minutes past 7. In case you are just joining us, well, you are right on time for the newspaper review this morning. Remember, you can always be part of the conversation. You can watch us live right now on YouTube at iMpact 102.1 FM, where we are streaming live. Also on Facebook at iMpact Radio 102.1 FM. But you can call us up in the studio for you to, share your own insights about things happening in the country, or basically about, the message that you want to react to that made headlines or made front page this morning. And the way for you to do that is via WhatsApp on 0907 224 5018, or you can call us up on 0700 1021 1021. Now let's move into the papers in full this morning, and we will be starting with the Punch newspaper. And the Punch leads with this one, says NNPC reports 9.3 trillion naira petrol imports as queues linger. NNPC reports 9.3 trillion naira petrol imports as queues linger. That is on page 2 and page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Two writers to that particular story says petrol subsidy gobs 3.3 trillion naira, and NNPC calls 1.8 trillion naira energy security cost. Port Harcourt Warri depots receive PMS task force arrest black marketers. Well, that's much you can see about, petrol on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. So many queues on the front page of, the Punch newspaper this morning, as it is almost everywhere in Lagos. At least that is where I know about. Almost every filling station that I passed, the only functioning, machine will probably be the one that sells diesel. The rest, if they are selling PMS, if they are selling petrol, the queues are crazy. So it's either empty or it's selling diesel. Even the NNPC filling station itself that I passed by yesterday, it was only selling diesel. There was no PMS. There was no petrol. The NNPC on Monday promised, that is by Group GMD, promised by Wednesday it will be fixed. And we're seeing on the papers this morning that over 9.3 trillion naira petrol imports has come true. So who knows, maybe by the end of today or from tomorrow we won't see queues any longer in our filling stations. But hey, it's still a huge maybe. So underneath that huge picture this time, it says 5 banks budget 222 billion naira for cyber security. You want to find out about that story, go look at page 28 of the Punch newspaper. One dies as Ogun hunters herders clash. One dies as Ogun hunters herders clash. Page 15 is where you will see that story. 2027 APC kicks as PDP backs call for Jonathan's return. 2027 APC kicks as PDP backs call for Jonathan's return. Page 14 is where you will find that story this morning. Above the nameplate of the Punch this morning, producers decline sale of 460,000 barrel of crude oil to Dangote orders. Producers decline sale of 460,000 BPD crude to Dangote orders. You want to see that story? It is on page 25 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Forex shortage. Domestic airlines ground 42 aircraft. Forex shortage. Domestic airlines ground 42 aircraft. Page 28 is where that story is at. Akume Edun lead LG autonomy implementation panel. Akume Edun lead LG autonomy implementation panel. Page 14 is where you will find that story. The LG autonomy, huge news. It reminds me of what we read in the news this morning, talking about the Kano State Electoral Commission saying the local government chairman, if you want to contest for local government chairman, you have to pay for the form 10 million naira for the form of the local government chairman. And if you're contesting for councillorship, you have to pay as much as 5 million naira. Yes. You heard me correct. That's the amount for, and you get to wonder, why is this so much expensive? And why wouldn't maybe politicians feel like, okay, once I've spent this so much on this, won't I go recoup the money back? So crazy. Well, that's the much we can take on the Punch newspaper this morning.
And Away from that, now moving on to the Daily Trust, we have here on the front page concerns as 49 die of food poisoning. 43 die of food poisoning in 2 weeks. And this main story is on page 4. We have writers here, 3 to be precise. One says, farmers, agric workers blame hoarding importation of substandard items. Also, federal government warns against indiscriminate use of preservatives. And then 4, avoid expired products according to NMA. This is a lot. 43 people dying of food poisoning in just 2 weeks. We can get all the stories on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We have here again. Okay, there are actually pictures of the Yobe farmers and something about local government and all. But yeah, that's the main story. I actually want to even say something about it. So the first writer saying farmers, agric workers blame hoarding and importation of substandard items. There are a lot of things that can actually cause food poisoning, and I get that after maybe majority of the things that we actually eat are being transported from one place to another. So the tendency of it probably being stale, spoiling, especially perishable goods, transporting from one state actually to another, it can cause something like that. So it's actually, this is another issue again when it comes to agricultural sector, poor storage facilities,
preservation and all of that. So
then having to now use more preservatives because you don't have good storage facilities. You're now intertwining every single thing. And as much as preservatives are not good, at the same time they are not good actually. They are not good. They
too
might
many chemicals.
Yes, it's too much. So I'd actually advise you that is listening that anything you are buying, check the expiry dates also.
Really important.
Check the expiry
It's
date.
really,
So
that
who
cannot
will
be
buy it?
overemphasized.
They'll buy it. They say, it was just last month and they will eat. Don't do that. Especially maybe drinks that maybe like they have some citric acid there. They'll be like, oh, it doesn't really mean, but actually it does. So yeah, but that's just the main thing actually on the Daily Trust newspaper. And yeah, that's all.
From the Daily Trust straight down to the Guardian this morning, we have to take this as fast as we can so that we can, get in our guests to help analyze the show from the second half of the show. And it leads with this one, says custom sports rates adoption. Says duty FX rates shift 100 times in 2024. Spike prices of goods by 120%. Duty FX rates shift 100 times in 2024. Spike prices of goods by 120%. Prices remain sticky over high FX rates, frequent changes, and uncertainty. There are images of different prices, the duty FX rates, the monthly average that is coming into it. You want to see all of that? The Guardian newspaper has much of that for you this morning. Page 6 is where you will find that. Underneath this big one says, why environmental impact reports are failing stress test. Why environmental impact reports are failing stress test. You want to find out why? Go get the Guardian this morning. Page 4 is where you will find out why. NNPC's OPEX salaries hit 2.9 trillion naira in 2023, up by 70%. Page 2 of the Guardian newspaper is where you will find that story. Appeal court from Shaibu as a dual deputy governor overturns Bello's route. Tinubu's foreign trips cost Nigeria 2.3 billion naira in 6 months. Page 3 is where you'll find that story. That's all on the Guardian this morning.